Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another card making tutorial. And we're doing this card today. I'm super chuffed with how this turned out. Playing with a new set and sort of reverting back to a real sort of my course style using the bunches of flowers there. So yeah, a few new things and some old favourites in with this card today. So for me, the talking point is this wonderful delicate aperture that I've created in there, and that's using a die set in the new annual catalogue, and it's called Encircled in Beauty. There is a coordinating stamp set that didn't actually float my boat very much, but I really loved the dies, so I've just got the dies. I didn't get the bundle. So and these are what you get. And so I discovered that this large one was actually a two-part die actually. So I've just used this portion to cut the aperture, but you can use both dies together and you will get this doily here and a really pretty centre circle, okay, in there too. So if you use the two together, this outer one and this one, you get this, okay, all right. But I opted to just cut into my card layer, so that's fun, isn't it? Okay, and then we've got a smaller one there, so that'll cut entirely out of the card. We've also got this large die, which again will cut out. That will cut around the edge, so that will cut out a whole doily with a blank centre, so we can layer things up. So that, if I take it off the paper, so that could sit inside there. So you've got loads of options for layering and everything. So I mean, I've cut mine in white. You can cut it in all sorts of colours. This one cuts this out, so you get this lovely pierced centre. Isn't that gorgeous? And then we've got another little tiny one in there too. So loads and loads that you can do with this. Very excited by it. And this is what we're making today. So to bear with some die cutting, you'll see we've used a couple of different stamp sets. So the florals come from our new set called Flowers of Friendship, which has a coordinating punch. So that's available as a bundle. So that's what I've used for my flowers. The sprig punch is a carryover. It's been with us a while, but it's super useful for this kind of thing, just to give you some mock foliage. And I've got those in vellum. And then the sentiment I took from this set called Tranquil Thoughts, which I really like. And unfortunately we'll be retiring it in the mini catalogue. It's available right now until stocks last, but this will be retiring at the end of June. So if you fancy getting hold of this one, then that's how you will get it. So a real mixture of products. The pearls are also a carryover item. These are the hydrangea hill coordinated ones, but they're called pastel pearls. And this is interesting because technically these are two retired colours in here. So we've got those are Seaside Spray and those are Rococo Rose, and those colours retired. But then we've got Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather in there as well. So those are the bits and bobs that we've got. And I've put away that die, so let me just grab that die so we can start and get going making our card. Okay, so I actually wanted to show you the die cut process for that, because I think it's important for you to be able to see how the card came together. I am changing the colourway, so we're going to go all pinks. I've already cut my sprigs, that they're done. And I've gone with a Blushing Bride card base, a layer of Melon Mumbo. Okay, so on this one I used Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. So whatever your matte layer is going to be, that's the one that's going to show through your aperture. Okay, so just something to bear in mind when you're doing your own design. Okay, and then this is our card layer to go on top, which we're going to die cut into. Alright, and I've got a scrap for punching and die cutting my cards. So I'm going to just grab a small piece of low tack tape. Now on my original I had the orientation like this, with this sort of point towards the top, just because we can. Let's twizzle it around a few degrees and have that portion at the top. So it's subtle, but it's a different look, you know, so it's up to you how you want to do this. So we're cutting directly into my card front layer. Okay, to get my die cut machine ready, so I've got my base platform number 1, I've got the die cut platform, I've got a bottom cutting plate which we can put down with the cutting edge of my die face down, and then we're going to put another plate on top, sandwich that together and roll it through. I do like to go back as well, especially with the intricate dies. So that's what we've got right now. So if we just lift away the die, peel away your tape real careful, because this is your card front, so you don't want to be ripping that at all. Any residual glue will just wipe away with your glue eraser. Okay, and we can just lift that off and we can poke out all of the little pieces. Okay, which doesn't take very long at all. Okay, let me just clear the decks just a moment. Just going to poke that through. There is a die brush that you can get to help you with this little process, but I tend to just do it manually. Okay, little bits will stick to your fingers. We want this bit as well. So I'm just going to lift that bit off and reserve that. But I don't know, I just find it a little bit therapeutic actually. Just to poke those through. This is something that not everyone is a super fan of, but I think the result is just so worth it. Okay, so these little curly bits will just get trapped in your cardstock, and so just a little bit of patience with your tool, and it doesn't take a minute just to get all those out. And the other thing you can do is, I wasn't going to do it over my desk because it's going to cause a great big whole heap of mess, but if you flick your cardstock, a lot of those pieces fall out as well. But I would recommend doing that over a bin, otherwise they're going to go everywhere. So just popping this to one side so it's not going to end up with a mess all over my desk halfway through, because I know what will happen is I'll catch it on my elbow or something and I'll end up with pieces everywhere. So just scraping that into my bin, and that's our card front. Okay, really dead easy. Okay, I've just got a little bit of a sticky mark on there, so I'm just using a glue eraser just to do that, and we can just stick this to our card front. And I just use my my seal for this, because you've got the aperture, you just want to make sure that you get as close as you can to that, just to give it a bit more support in the middle there so it doesn't lift. And if you're a wet glue kind of person, you can use that too. So that's going to be stuck onto our Melon Mambo cardstock. Now I've forgotten a step, but it doesn't matter, I can do it right now. It's not ideal, but I can do it right now. So before I put that on, I was going to add some ink to the centre, just with some scrap paper underneath it, but we can do it from this because we're going to cover this middle bit. So I'm just going to grab the the light ink, the Blushing Bride ink, and bring in a blending brush. I'm just going to add some colour just around the edge of that. I would have done that before I stuck it down. It's only going to be super subtle, but in real life it actually makes quite a nice little difference, and I don't know whether it picks up too well on the camera, to be honest with you, because it is really light, but like I say, in real life it's just a real nice lift, and it helps that circle sort of pop from the page a little bit as well. So just something to bear in mind, and that's the only thing I need that ink for, or everything else is going to be done in the Melon Mambo ink. Okay, so it's an optional extra, you don't have to do it at all. This layer can go straight onto my card base, nothing else we need to do. We're not adding any ribbon or anything like that. So a few lines of tape on there, and we'll stick that to our card base. There we are. So there's that peak of the light pink coming through from the card base, but the Melon Mambo is definitely the sort of accent colour there. Alright, okay, so that's our card base done. The next thing to do is to just do our stamping. So we'll move our card to one side, and we've got our centrepiece that we got from the die there. I've already got my my stamp mounted, and as I say, I'm just going to bring in the Melon Mambo ink and stamp that down. Because it's a circle, we've got an opportunity to make sure it's straight when we add it to the card, but that's come out beautifully. It's such a lovely sentiment. And then I've got my little flowers here. So you need a strip of card that's going to be quite a bit longer than what you think you might need, and that will become apparent when I show you how the punch works. So that's it for the ink. Let's put that away. So when the I've cut this strip down so to fit the stamp, and when I slot it in, you'll see that if my flowers had been too close together, this leaf would have chopped into the next image. So you just want to be mindful when you've got these sort of builder punches on how you're going to be putting those together. Okay, and we'll do the next one. And then if we turn it round, we can do the end one. Like so. Okay, so there's our 3 flowers all done. And then as you will have seen me do before, if you use something rounded, you can add some shape to your flowers. So the back of the tip of my glue seems to work quite nicely, and I'm going to be using it anyway, so I might as well use it. So that just gives them a little bit of shape on there. So we're going to add our sentiment first. So we're just going to grab a couple of dimensional pieces just to add to that, and we want to make sure that's straight. So I'm going to use my wet glue just to help with the positioning of that. So if we twizzle that round, we've just got that moment or two just to make sure it's centered in that aperture and hopefully is straight. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see that pink ink just making that difference between the delicate detail and the circle there, but in real life that looks really cool. So spot of glue on each of our flowers next. Okay, we're just going to position those. The flower, by the way, is actually, the shape is symmetrical, but it's been drawn in such a way so it doesn't look symmetrical. So it's a really cute flower. But something to bear in mind when you're doing your punching, you don't need to worry about whether it's which petal's which, you just have to make sure it's just in the right orientation. Okay, so there's our little, what do you call it? Little petals. And then we're going to add our little sprigs in behind there. So, you know my rule of threes, you know, do like that. So if you do this before everything sets, you've got time to fiddle about with your layout if you need to. Okay, that sort of fills up some of the white space as well, if you're not keen on having too much white space. And then the last thing to do is add the pearls. The pearls are self-adhesive, but just to be sure, I just put just the teensiest little bit of wet glue there, just to help them along. And I'm just going to use these pearls here because they're to hand. You can use stamp and blend markers to colour your own pearls if you wish as well, so that's another option if you haven't got these ones. So then you could also use the Mambo marker to make them the dark colour if you want to. So that's it. So I've just got stuff everywhere, so I was just trying to clear the decks there a minute. So there we go, that's it. Aren't they really, really pretty? Absolutely stunning. And you know what? We don't want to say it, but would make a great sympathy card because it's very elegant and subtle. Just obviously use more muted colours. I think it would look stunning in monochromatic colours. Sort of the greys, maybe some basic grey and smoky slate, or grey granite, never mind, or something like that. Black and white even. So I think that would be beautiful. And also you could really flower it up and make a really stunning wedding card, I think. So this has got lots and lots of flexibility, I think, as a die set. So I'm sure there's going to be more to come with this. I really, 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 really love it. I hope you do too. Links are in the description. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And yeah, super duper. Stay safe though. Okay, I know the sun's out, but do stay safe out there. And I hope to speak to you again soon. Cheers, everybody. Bye.